We're now 2 weeks into the legalization of recreational cannabis, and police departments across the country have been adjusting to the end of prohibition. We've got with us the head of the nation's largest police department, Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders. Thank you for being here.
Oh, no problem, Amanda.
I know this all came about fairly quickly, and so you've been running, I think, all of you, to figure out what to do. Can you give me an update on how it's going, what you've seen, including any troubles?
Well, so far so good, and I think one of the things that we can celebrate is that most Canadians are law-abiding. And so adding this into the portfolio of things that we have to deal with, by and large in the city of Toronto, the Toronto experiences, there has not been anything overly significant or a massive shift of change in behaviors. However, the issue that we do have right now still are the illegal dispensaries, and we're taking steps towards looking after that issue.
Are you taking more steps than you were before legalization? In other words, is the crackdown more serious now that there are legal options? Well,
the police have more options and more tools now, because once it got legalized, the Cannabis Act enacted, and with that, it changes it from being a criminal process or investigation into a provincial. It provides more tools. We know that most of the sales in the dispensaries are from the black market, and so we know it's for illicit activity. But they're there for monetary. They're taking advantage of this vacuum that is being created. And so we have more tools. We're hitting them financially. So the fines maximize up to $250,000 for those that are selling. It also hits the landlords. So landlords can't hide either. And the other thing that I like is there's a closure order. With that closure order, once that's implemented, then every day that you open, you can be fined up to $10,000 a day or $25,000 a day.
Wow.
So those are the deterrents that I think that are put into place that will really help us out to keep it suppressed.
One of the big unknowns about legalization was how people would consume it and then go about their business, including, getting behind the wheel of a car or smoking all day long. Have you seen any uptick? Do you have any even anecdotal evidence that there are stoned people driving around all the time?
No, we don't have any anecdotal on that, but I can tell you, when it comes to calls for service, we haven't seen a significant increase at all, but we are getting a few more calls of people that are smoking marijuana and entering into motor vehicles. And so the education piece, the awareness piece for the public, they need to understand the effects of operating a motor vehicle under the influence of a drug or alcohol and the role that it plays in causing death.
Do you expect to see this stuff change next April when there are actual, in Ontario, retail outlets? Right now, it's still, it's harder to get it than it is in some other provinces.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate because I don't know what the game rules are with respect to how those storefronts are going to look. We have to be cautious, and all we can do from law enforcement is educate the government to the best of our abilities, understanding that historically, whenever there is drugs and money in the same room, they're open up to vulnerabilities, robberies, murders, and things like that, which we have historically seen, even with the dispensaries today. We're seeing that. And so if the lens is put there to reduce that, then we'll see what opportunities will play out as we go.
I've heard, and I'm sure you have too, the argument that if this works the way that the policymakers hope, which is to bring it all out into the kind of regulated part of the market, drive the black market away, including the criminal elements, it could be a model for other drugs. Do you believe that?
I'm not a supporter of illegal drugs being legalized. When we talk about cocaine, heroin, opioids, I'm not a believer of that, and that's my opinion. However, I'm willing to work with the harm reduction piece. I think it's vital. I think it's important. But how we get to that harm reduction piece and what mechanisms are in play, I think I'd need to see the groundwork on that a little bit better, and understanding and appreciating that whenever things are implemented, that one of the first things that are looked at from a layer perspective is what are the security issues and concerns, what are the impacts to communities that have to deal with the type of activities that will take place in their neighborhoods.
One thing I want to know that you've also had to deal with, just as somebody running an organization, is your own rules and regulations. How do you police it inside the police force to make sure that people are adhering to standards?
Yeah, we have so many unknown unknowns right now, as you can imagine, and one of them is, for me, defining fit for duty. There needs to be an expectation for the 2.8 million people that we serve that when a law enforcement officer shows up, that they are fit for duty. Finding that definition, I think, is a moving target. I put a high watermark for the Toronto Police organization at this point, but I was very open with it. It's an intern procedure right now. I'm working with the associations and the senior officer organizations, as well as the board, to figure out, is there a common ground? And I'm willing to listen, but based on the science, when they talk about the fact that it can stay in your body, THC can stay in your body for up to 28 days, depending on your body type, your metabolism, your body fat, and a whole host of other reasons, we have to really figure out what the right answer is, and I'm open for those discussions. discussions.
We only have seconds here, but we now have a reward offered in the case of the Shermans. Has that changed anything? As to, you've seen any more calls to tip lines or any movement?
Well, the tip lines, we have not entered into full discussion yet. But anything that helps promote what our end goal is, which is to find those person or persons responsible for the death of Honey and Barry Sherman, is a good thing.
It's great to have you here with us, Chief.
Good seeing you, Amanda.
That is Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders.